Have you ever gone to bed believing you were doing everything right? Eating clean, watching your protein, trying to live healthy, only to wake up one morning with swollen ankles, crushing fatigue, and a blood test that shows your kidneys are failing. Imagine being told that the very proteins you thought were helping you might actually be the ones quietly harming your kidneys. It's not as rare as you might think. I've seen it happen more often than you believe, especially to people who genuinely care about their health and follow what they think is smart nutrition advice. One man I met was in his early 60s, someone who took his health seriously. He gave up junk food, reduced red meat, and replaced it with lean turkey, protein shakes, and so-called heart-friendly bacon. He was proud of his discipline and thought he was doing everything right for his age. But after weeks of unexplained tiredness and swelling in his legs, he found himself in the emergency room. His creatinine levels had nearly tripled. His blood pressure was soaring, and his kidneys were functioning at less than 40%. The doctor warned that dialysis might be next. He was devastated and confused. How could this happen when he'd been eating so cleanly? And here's what surprises most people: it wasn't junk food that caused it. It wasn't burgers or fried chicken. It was the very foods often labeled as healthy proteins. Lean turkey bacon for breakfast, whey protein shakes after workouts, a grilled steak at dinner. Day after day, those foods were silently flooding his kidneys with phosphorus, sodium, and nitrogen waste. His kidneys, two organs no larger than his fists, had been working overtime, trying to clear away the buildup. Eventually, they just couldn't keep up. When I met him, he looked at me and said words I'll never forget. "Doctor, I thought I was doing everything right. How could this happen to me?" And that's when I told him something I want to share with you today. Not all proteins are the same. Some nourish and strengthen your body, while others slowly wear it down. What truly matters is understanding the difference before it's too late. In the next few minutes, I'll show you which 6 types of protein can quietly harm your kidneys, and which 4 can actually help protect and even support their recovery. These insights aren't just theories, they come from real clinical data and from patients I've personally cared for. Once you learn this, you'll never look at your breakfast or dinner plate the same way again. And if you find this information helpful, feel free to stay tuned for more guidance on aging healthfully and keeping your body strong. Now, when people think of healthy protein, most picture grilled chicken, fish, or a protein shake. But very few realize that one of the purest and most kidney-friendly sources of protein has likely been in their kitchen all along: egg whites. For years, eggs were unfairly blamed for raising cholesterol, so many people, especially older adults, stopped eating them. But the truth is, egg whites are one of nature's best sources of clean protein, particularly for those who want to lower creatinine levels and support kidney function. Here's a story about Sarah, someone who faced the same struggle. She was a 62-year-old school teacher from Phoenix, completely worn out when she came to see me. Her phosphorus levels were dangerously high, her creatinine kept rising each month, and her doctor had warned that dialysis was only a matter of time. She told me it felt as though she was fading away, little by little. When I looked at her food journal, I noticed a familiar pattern, the same mistake I had once made myself. Protein bars, turkey bacon, and so-called lean meats that were, without her realizing it, putting tremendous strain on her kidneys. So, I suggested just one simple change. Instead of having turkey bacon for breakfast, replace it with 3 egg whites. That's it. No complicated diet plan, no expensive supplement, just that one switch. What happened next surprised even me. In only 8 weeks, her phosphorus dropped from a dangerous 7.2 to a much healthier 4.8. She lost 8 pounds of trapped fluid, her blood pressure improved naturally without needing stronger medication, and for the first time in years, she told me she felt nearly 70% more alive. Here's why that small change worked so well. A whole egg contains about 86 milligrams of phosphorus, while an egg white has only about 10. That's an enormous difference for the kidneys. With far less phosphorus to process, her kidneys could finally rest and recover. Egg whites also contain no purines, which means they don't form uric acid, the same sharp crystals that can cause gout and cut through kidney tissue like tiny shards of glass. Instead, egg whites offer pure, high-quality protein that helps the body rebuild rather than inflame. And science supports this. Researchers at the University of Milan followed 147 kidney patients for 2 years. Those who replaced red meat with egg whites just 4 times per week showed a 34% improvement in kidney function. Meanwhile, those who continued eating red meat saw their condition worsen. Numbers like that speak for themselves. Sometimes, the smallest decisions, like what you put on your breakfast plate, can have the greatest impact. Now, how you prepare your eggs also matters. Avoid frying them. Frying creates oxidized cholesterol and inflammatory compounds that act like sandpaper on delicate kidney filters. Keep it simple instead. Steam them, soft boil them, or mix them into oatmeal or pancakes. Keep them clean, keep them gentle, and your kidneys will thank you for it. Egg whites don't just protect your kidneys, they can also help support their repair. In several clinical reviews, patients who added egg whites to their daily diet showed measurable improvements in kidney health. They helped maintain healthy albumin levels, which are crucial for preventing swelling, fluid buildup, and delayed healing. For people with kidney issues, albumin often drops too low, leaving the body weak and depleted. By adding egg whites, you give your body what it needs to rebuild strength and resilience. So, tomorrow morning, when you look at your breakfast plate, remember this: sometimes the smallest swap can create the biggest change. Sarah avoided dialysis and reclaimed her life, and it all began with something as simple as 3 egg whites. But egg whites are just the beginning. The second protein that can make a real difference for your kidney health might surprise you. It doesn't come from an animal at all. It's tofu. For years, tofu has had a reputation for being bland or boring, something only vegetarians would eat. But science tells a completely different story. Made from soybeans, tofu is one of the gentlest and most protective sources of protein you can give your kidneys. Animal proteins like beef or chicken push the kidneys to work nearly twice as hard as normal. Every time you eat them, millions of tiny kidney filters have to strain to remove the nitrogen waste produced by breaking down animal protein. Over time, that constant effort can cause scarring and exhaustion inside the kidneys. Tofu, on the other hand, is much easier on them. Soy protein produces far less waste, allowing the kidneys to rest and recover, almost like giving an overworked engine a chance to cool down. Let me tell you about Marcus, a 58-year-old construction foreman from Texas. He was the kind of man who never took a sick day, no matter the weather. But when he came to see me, his phosphorus levels were dangerously high at 8.1, and his kidney specialist had already mentioned the possibility of dialysis. When I first mentioned tofu, he laughed. "Doc," he said, "we don't eat that where I'm from." But later, he admitted sometimes it takes a tough moment to open our minds. He started small, just half a cup of firm tofu, pressed and marinated in low-sodium tamari, then grilled like a steak. He added it to soups, stir-fries, even scrambled it for breakfast. Within 2 months, the results were astonishing. His phosphorus dropped from 8.1 to 5.2. He lost 15 pounds of retained fluid. His blood pressure fell by 25 points, and for the first time, his doctor reduced his medication instead of increasing it. Most importantly, his dialysis was postponed indefinitely. So why does tofu work so well? The answer lies in its natural compounds called isoflavones. These plant-based molecules have been shown in multiple studies, including research from UCLA and clinical trials in Japan, to help repair kidney tissue, reduce inflammation, and protect the delicate lining of the glomeruli, the tiny filters that keep your blood clean. In one Japanese study, patients who regularly included tofu in their diet saw inflammation markers drop by 42%. That's not marketing, it's verified, peer-reviewed science. But there's one important detail to keep in mind. Not all tofu is the same. Pre-marinated or flavored versions often contain hidden sodium, MSG, or phosphate additives that can be harmful. Always choose plain, organic tofu. Press out the excess water and season it yourself using kidney-friendly spices like turmeric, ginger, or garlic. When prepared this way, tofu becomes both nourishing and delicious. Tofu isn't just a substitute for meat, it's a form of protection for your kidneys. Marcus now calls it his lifesaver steak. What started out as a hesitant experiment soon became a life-changing habit, one that gave him years of better health and freedom from the fear of dialysis. And if he could make that change, truly, anyone can. Now, let's shift our focus to something that comes from the sea. The third protein that can support kidney health doesn't come from land, it comes from the ocean. And it's a fish many people tend to overlook at the grocery store: tilapia. It may not seem special, it's mild, affordable, and often passed by without much thought. But when it comes to protecting your kidneys, tilapia quietly stands out as a true ally. Here's why. Each serving of tilapia provides 22 grams of complete, high-quality protein, yet it contains only about 170 milligrams of phosphorus, less than half the amount found in the same serving of beef. That means your kidneys can process it with far less strain and waste. Even more importantly, tilapia's natural balance of omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acids helps calm inflammation instead of fueling it. Most people don't realize just how essential that is. Chronic inflammation is one of the main drivers behind kidney decline, and this humble fish can help slow that process down. Let me tell you about George, a 6-7-year-old grandfather who came to me in serious trouble. He was living with stage 4 kidney disease and suffering from gout, so painful that even walking was a challenge. His wife quietly admitted she was already preparing for the worst. George thought he was doing everything right, eating lean beef 4 times a week, avoiding junk food, staying away from fast food. What he didn't realize was that even lean beef was flooding his system with uric acid and phosphorus, 2 toxins that were silently wearing his kidneys down from the inside. So, we made one small change: no more beef tilapia instead. At first, he was skeptical. He said he didn't like fish because of the smell. But I showed him a new way to enjoy it, baked with lemon, fresh herbs, and a drizzle of olive oil. He gave it a try. Then he began grilling it, even making fish tacos with corn tortillas. 3 months later, his lab results told a story that medication alone couldn't explain. His uric acid levels returned to normal for the first time in years. The gout attacks completely stopped. And his GFR, a key measure of kidney function, rose from 35% to 48%. His nephrologist was amazed. "At your age," he said, "that kind of improvement shouldn't be possible." But it was. And the science supports it. A long-term study from Stockholm showed that patients who replaced red meat with white fish just twice a week had a 45% lower rate of kidney disease progression over 5 years. Just 2 fish meals a week made that difference. That's how powerful, small, consistent changes can be. There's only one golden rule: never deep-fry tilapia. Frying creates compounds called advanced glycation end products, or AGEs, which can damage kidney tissue like shards of glass. Instead, bake it, steam it, or grill it. And whenever you can, choose wild-caught tilapia over farm-raised. Fish raised on farms are often exposed to antibiotics and additives that can place added stress on the kidneys. As for George, his life completely changed. He went from making funeral plans to planning fishing trips. His energy came back, the pain faded away, and along with it, his sense of confidence returned. All of it began with one simple change: adding a few servings of tilapia each week. Sometimes, the quietest, smallest choices hold the greatest power to restore balance and vitality. Now that we've seen how the right proteins can protect your kidneys, let's explore the fourth one: a gentle yet powerful source of nourishment. It's not meat, fish, or eggs. It's something ancient, modest, and incredibly nourishing: quinoa. For over 5,000 years, this tiny grain has sustained entire civilizations across South America. And today, it's becoming one of the best natural allies for anyone looking to protect their kidney health. People with kidney issues are often advised to avoid most plant-based proteins, and for understandable reasons. Foods like beans, lentils, and nuts can be high in potassium and phosphorus, which can overwhelm kidneys that are already under strain. But quinoa stands apart. Unlike most plant proteins, quinoa is a complete protein, meaning it provides all 9 essential amino acids your body needs to maintain muscle, repair tissue, and support recovery. Even better, it does this with nearly 50% less potassium and phosphorus than other common plant-based sources. That makes it one of the safest and most balanced plant proteins you can include in your meals. I remember Sandra, a 70-year-old grandmother who came to me utterly drained and discouraged. She was living with stage 4 chronic kidney disease, and every time she tried to eat plant proteins, her potassium levels spiked into dangerous ranges. Her doctor had told her to give up beans, lentils, even most vegetables. Through tears, she asked, "So what am I supposed to eat? White rice and air?" She was losing muscle, losing weight, and slowly losing hope. That's when I introduced her to quinoa. We started gently: just half a cup of cooked quinoa a day, combined with steamed vegetables and a drizzle of olive oil. Within weeks, her potassium levels stabilized for the first time in years. She gained 5 pounds of healthy muscle. Her hemoglobin improved, her energy lifted, and she began walking again with confidence. But what amazed her most was this: she delayed dialysis for 2 full years, beyond what her doctor had expected. The secret to quinoa's power lies in its natural chemistry. Researchers at Lima University discovered that people who regularly ate quinoa had a 38% lower rate of kidney disease. Its natural compounds, called saponins, help shield kidney tissue from oxidative damage, while its fiber works to remove uremic toxins through the digestive tract, easing the burden on the kidneys. It's like having a gentle detox system built right into your meal. The key is in how you prepare it. Always rinse quinoa thoroughly before cooking that thin, bitter coating you wash away is saponin, and removing it helps your body digest quinoa more comfortably. Use 2 parts water to 1 part quinoa. Cook it for about 15 minutes, then let it rest for another 5 before serving. When prepared the right way, quinoa turns out light, fluffy, and deeply satisfying. Sandra often told me, "Doctor, I used to think I had to starve just to stay alive. Now, I finally feel like I can live again." And she was right. Quinoa didn't just nourish her body, it gave her hope. Hope for anyone who feels caught between hunger and kidney failure. This humble grain became her bridge back to better health. Now that we've explored the proteins that help restore balance, let's take a look at the ones that quietly harm your kidneys. Turkey bacon is one of those foods that seems healthy. It looks better, sounds better, and is often marketed as the smarter option. It's leaner than pork bacon, lower in calories, and frequently labeled as heart-friendly. But when it comes to your kidneys, turkey bacon is far from harmless. In fact, it can be toxic. Most people don't realize that turkey bacon is loaded with sodium and phosphate additives, chemicals that get absorbed almost entirely into your bloodstream. While the natural phosphorus found in whole foods is absorbed at only about 50%, these synthetic preservatives go straight into your system, where they begin to harden and calcify kidney tissue, almost like cement. I remember Angela, a 64-year-old retired nurse who truly believed she was doing everything right. Years ago, she switched from pork bacon to turkey bacon, thinking it was the wiser choice. She exercised regularly, ate a balanced diet, and rarely ate out. But her lab results told a different story. Her phosphorus level was a dangerous 8.3, and her blood pressure was climbing out of control, even with 3 different medications. She couldn't understand what she was doing wrong. The answer was sitting right there on her breakfast plate. We immediately replaced the turkey bacon with kidney-friendly options like egg whites and small servings of tofu. Within just a few weeks, her transformation was remarkable. Her phosphorus levels returned to normal. Her blood pressure dropped by 30 points, and the swelling in her legs began to fade. She felt lighter, more energized, and finally realized how something as simple as turkey bacon had been quietly pushing her kidneys toward failure. The reason is simple. Turkey bacon isn't real food. It's a processed product soaked in sodium nitrate and phosphate solutions to preserve its color and flavor. Inside the body, these chemicals form nitrosamines compounds known to damage kidney tissue and weaken bones. The result is a toxic mix that looks harmless on the breakfast table, but slowly erodes kidney function over time. If you think switching from pork bacon to turkey bacon makes you safer, think again. For your kidneys, that swap is like choosing between 2 poisons. One just happens to come in a prettier package. Now, let's talk about another common health food that can cause trouble: red lentils. They're often celebrated as a superfood high in protein, rich in fiber, and full of minerals. Vegans and vegetarians love them, and many nutritionists recommend them for heart health. But for people with kidney challenges, red lentils can be a hidden danger. The same nutrients that make them beneficial for most their high potassium and phosphorus content can actually harm weakened kidneys. When kidney function declines, those minerals aren't filtered out properly. They begin to build up in the blood, leading to serious and sometimes life-threatening complications. I'll never forget Tom, a 59-year-old vegan who came to see me after his kidney numbers kept getting worse. He was confused and frustrated. He didn't eat meat, avoided dairy completely, and stayed far away from processed foods. By most standards, Tom was living the right way. He ate clean, stayed active, and believed every choice he made was supporting his health. But each evening, he enjoyed a comforting bowl of red lentil curry, convinced it was the perfect plant-based protein. What he didn't realize was that this very meal was quietly putting him in danger. His potassium levels had risen to 6.2, when anything above 5.5 can trigger dangerous changes in heart rhythm. He was just one meal away from a possible cardiac emergency and had no idea. When we replaced the red lentils with quinoa and small portions of white rice, the change was almost immediate. Within just 10 days, his potassium levels returned to a safe range. His heartbeat steadied, his energy came back, and for the first time in months, his lab results finally showed progress. What surprised Tom most was learning that a food he believed was helping his body was actually pushing it toward collapse. It's a reminder that even the healthiest foods can become harmful when the kidneys are under strain. Just 1 cup of red lentils contains nearly 700 milligrams of potassium and over 350 milligrams of phosphorus. That combination, for weakened kidneys, is like adding fuel to a fire that's already burning. If you enjoy lentils, it doesn't mean you must give them up forever. But it does mean moderation is key. Always check with your doctor or dietitian to find out what amount, if any, your body can safely handle. Tom's experience is a powerful lesson. Even a healthy diet needs adjustment when your kidneys can't filter as they used to. What benefits the heart isn't always gentle on the kidneys. And understanding that difference can truly make all the difference for your health. Hot dogs, on the other hand, are almost woven into American tradition: ball games, barbecues, family gatherings. They've been part of our lives for generations. But for your kidneys, a hot dog can be like a ticking time bomb. Inside that simple bun lies one of the most damaging mixes of ingredients for anyone with kidney issues. Each hot dog is packed with sodium nitrates and phosphate additives. These compounds, along with oxidized fats, are known to harm kidney tissue. Nitrates drive inflammation. Phosphates harden the arteries that carry blood to the kidneys. And oxidized fats create free radicals that scar the kidney filters from the inside out. I once met Michael, a 71-year-old retired truck driver, who proudly told me he ate just one hot dog a week. He believed that couldn't possibly hurt. But over time, that single hot dog became a slow, silent poison. His lab results showed his kidney function steadily declining, and his GFR had dropped so low that dialysis was being discussed. When we reviewed his diet, the cause was clear: the sodium load from that weekly hot dog, combined with years of phosphate exposure, had been quietly wearing his kidneys down. So, we made one simple switch. Michael replaced the hot dog with grilled chicken breast and added more kidney-friendly proteins like egg whites and tofu. Within 3 months, his numbers began to stabilize for the first time in years. His GFR stopped falling, his blood pressure improved, and he told me he finally felt like he had his life back under control. What many people don't realize is that processed meats like hot dogs are among the most harmful foods for those with kidney problems. A single hot dog can contain over 500 milligrams of sodium, plus high levels of inorganic phosphate that your body absorbs almost completely. Unlike the natural phosphorus found in whole foods, these synthetic forms go straight into your bloodstream and build up in the kidneys, speeding up damage with every bite. Just one hot dog can cause more harm than an entire week of clean proteins like tofu or egg whites. It may seem harmless at a cookout, but inside your body, it's like lighting a slow-burning fuse. Michael learned that lesson just in time. By giving up that weekly hot dog, he gained back years of kidney health and a sense of hope he thought he had lost. Sometimes, protecting your health begins with saying no even to something as simple as what's in your hand at a summer cookout. Whey protein is everywhere these days. You see it in gyms, health shops, even at the grocery store. It's often promoted as the ultimate food for building muscle, burning fat, and speeding recovery. But for your kidneys, whey protein can be a silent enemy. What makes it effective for athletes? Its rapid absorption and concentrated dose of amino acids can be harmful for kidneys that are already under strain. Whole foods release nutrients slowly, allowing the body to process them over time. Whey isolates, on the other hand, flood your bloodstream with nitrogen waste all at once. When your kidneys can't clear that waste quickly enough, it begins to build up. And that buildup forces your filters to work harder than they're meant to. I'll never forget Dan, a 8-year-old fitness enthusiast who came to me completely baffled. He looked healthy, lean, and strong. He exercised 5 days a week and drank 5 whey protein shakes each week, convinced he was doing the right thing for his body. But at 47, his lab results started telling a different story. His creatinine levels were rising month after month, and he had already entered stage 2 kidney disease. He couldn't believe it. "I don't smoke, I don't drink, I eat clean," he said. "How can my kidneys be failing?" The answer was right there in his shaker bottle. Whey protein isolates push the kidneys into overdrive. They flood the blood with nitrogen, sulfur, and phosphorus compounds that healthy kidneys can handle, but weakened kidneys cannot. Over time, this strain causes microscopic scarring in the glomeruli, the tiny filters that keep your blood clean. And once those filters burn out, they don't grow back. No supplement, no medication, no special cleanse can restore them. That's why prevention is everything. I asked Dan to stop using whey shakes and instead switch to gentler, kidney-friendly protein sources like egg whites, quinoa, and small portions of tofu. Within 8 weeks, his creatinine levels stabilized. No more steady increases. No more fear of decline. He kept working out, stayed strong, and realized that protecting his kidneys didn't mean giving up his health goals, it just meant fueling his body more wisely. The fitness industry won't tell you this because whey protein brings in billions of dollars every year, but what those glossy labels don't show is the hidden cost to your kidneys. Your muscles might look great for a while, but the stress inside your body builds quietly until one day the damage is done. If you want strength that truly lasts, choose proteins your body can process without punishment. Your kidneys will thank you for it. Beans have always been celebrated as a healthy food rich in fiber, protein, and minerals, and for most people, they truly are a great addition to a balanced diet. But when it comes to kidney health, not all beans are the same. Canned beans, in particular, can be a quiet threat. And the problem isn't just the beans themselves. It's not the beans themselves that cause the problem, it's what's inside the can. Canned beans are soaked in salty brine and chemical preservatives that send sodium and potassium levels far beyond what weakened kidneys can safely manage. Even when you rinse them, much of that sodium stays trapped deep inside each bean. I once met Teresa, a 6-year-old vegetarian who had relied on canned beans for years. She believed she was eating clean, no meat, no fast food, no junk. Just beans, rice, and vegetables. But when her lab results came back, her potassium level was 6 dangerously high. At that range, heart rhythms can become erratic, and even sudden cardiac arrest can occur. She was just 3 days away from needing emergency dialysis, and she had no idea the problem was sitting right in her pantry. We made one simple adjustment. I asked her to stop eating canned beans and switch to dry beans instead. She soaked them overnight, cooked them slowly, and paired them with small portions of quinoa, a gentle, kidney-friendly source of protein. Within weeks, her potassium level dropped from 6 to 4.5. Her energy returned, her anxiety faded, and her lab results finally stabilized. She told me, "I never realized something so small could make such a big difference." And she was right. Convenience often comes at a cost. Just 1 cup of canned black beans can hold around 600 milligrams of potassium plus a heavy dose of sodium that your kidneys can't easily filter. Those hidden ingredients turn what should be a nourishing food into a quiet threat. But the solution isn't giving up beans, it's going back to basics. Buy dry beans, soak them, and cook them yourself. That simple process removes excess potassium and sodium, leaving behind the clean protein and fiber your body truly needs. Teresa's story proves how small choices can make a powerful impact. By trading a little convenience for a bit more care, she gave her kidneys the space they needed to recover. Sometimes, protecting your health doesn't require new medications or a complicated diet. It just means paying attention to what's hidden behind the label. Few foods feel more American than a sizzling steak on the grill. For generations, it's been a symbol of strength, success, and celebration. But for your kidneys, that juicy steak is far from a reward, it's a strain. Beef floods the body with uric acid, phosphorus, and saturated fats, all of which gradually wear down the kidneys over time. Those sharp uric acid crystals inflame the joints, cut into kidney tissue like tiny blades, and spark the same chronic inflammation that leads to gout and kidney failure. Add the phosphorus and saturated fats that clog your blood vessels, and you have the perfect recipe for long-term damage. I remember James, a 72-year-old retired engineer who came to me after years of painful gout attacks and worsening kidney function. He loved his weekly steak nights. "It's my reward," he told me with a smile. But his lab results told a different story. His GFR had dropped to stage 3 kidney disease, and his uric acid levels were alarmingly high. After 3 emergency visits for gout flare-ups so painful he could barely stand, James finally decided it was time to make a change. We scaled back his steak nights to just once a week, swapping them for tilapia and tofu, both gentle, kidney-friendly sources of protein that help calm inflammation and naturally bring down uric acid levels. Within a few short months, the change was astonishing. His uric acid levels returned to normal, the painful gout attacks stopped, and his kidney function improved by 15%. His nephrologist was amazed, calling that kind of progress rare for someone his age. But James proved that age isn't always the limit. By letting go of the foods that had quietly been harming him, he gave his kidneys room to recover. Many people don't realize that even lean cuts of beef carry a heavy load of phosphorus, something that forces the kidneys to work overtime. The more phosphorus we take in, the harder the kidneys must fight to keep balance. Over time, that strain, scars, and stiffens the delicate filters that cleanse your blood. That's why red meat, especially when eaten often or in large portions, is one of the most common hidden triggers behind kidney decline in older adults. A steak might look like a symbol of strength on the outside, but inside the body, it's a different story. Choosing lighter, kidney-supportive proteins like fish, tofu, or egg whites doesn't mean sacrificing flavor. It means giving your body a chance to thrive. James still enjoys his meals, but now they nourish rather than harm him. And that's true strength, the wisdom to protect your health before it's too late. Your kidneys have been working faithfully every second of your life. As a doctor, I've seen just how resilient they can be when treated with care. Since the moment you were born, your kidneys have worked quietly behind the scenes. They've filtered every drop of blood, balanced every bit of fluid, and protected you from countless toxins, all without ever asking for rest. But even the most devoted part of your body needs care in return. And the good news is, it's never too late to start. Every simple decision you make, what you eat, how you move, how much water you drink, can either protect or strain those two small organs that keep you alive. Choosing the right proteins, the ones that support rather than strain your body, can slow years of silent damage and give your kidneys the space they need to recover naturally. Something as small as trading turkey bacon for egg whites or replacing red meat with fish and tofu can give your kidneys the relief they've been needing. Add a short 20-minute walk each morning. Keep your blood pressure steady. Do that, and your kidneys will thank you with better energy, sharper clarity, and the freedom to live your days more fully. It's easy to think kidney disease is a life sentence, but it's not. I've watched people in their 60s, 70s, even 80s regain strength, lower their creatinine levels, and stay off dialysis entirely. The secret wasn't a miracle pill or an expensive treatment, it was understanding, consistency, and small daily choices. The body is remarkable when you give it the right support. Healing begins when you stop punishing your kidneys and start working with them. So, take a moment to appreciate how far they've carried you through countless meals, decades of work, moments of laughter and stress. And think about how much more they can still do for you if you start caring for them now. Share this message with someone you love, maybe someone who's been feeling tired or slowing down without knowing why. You might just help them change their story in time. If this message resonated with you, feel free to share it with someone who could use a little encouragement, and stay tuned for more weekly, science-based tips to help keep your body strong from the inside out. Together, we can make every choice count, protecting your health, your independence, and your future. Stay hopeful, stay consistent, and remember, your kidneys have never given up on you. Now it's your turn, don't give up on them.